Hey guys, welcome to the RAMZPAUL show and happy Friday. Yeah, thank God it's Friday. Mega Matt, I agree with you. Even though I'm not in the corporate world, I still love Fridays and Saturdays. I still do. Well, I kind of now, I tend not to do content now on the weekends. Sometimes we'll do night owls maybe, but so I guess that's kind of my Friday too. But I love, streaming, so it's not really something I dread doing. But I remember when I was in the workforce, I love Fridays just to take off and have fun the whole weekend. So hope you guys have a great time. It's going to be, it should have a good show. It's been a crazy week. YouTube Trailer Park. Is there going to be a night out this weekend? I don't know. Maybe. I'll ask Sasha. That's Night Owls is kind of an ad hoc show we do. It kind of depends on our availability. Mostly it depends on Sasha, because Sasha's a working woman, and we're in the process of moving. She is moving from her apartment to this house here in the Ozarks, and we were trying to get the move done by the end of January, but that didn't happen because I had car trouble and our move schedule got thrown off. So we delayed it a month. She's going to stay in her apartment another month, but we're busy moving stuff. In fact, just today I unloaded a bunch of stuff from the apartment, but she'll be over tomorrow night. We're picking up another load. And I think tomorrow we're going to see that Mel Gibson movie about some airplane that's hijacked. I like Mel Gibson. I don't think he stars in it, but he's directing it. So we'll let you know that. We like to go over movies and then we talk about movies. And it's Night Owls is not so much a current event show. It's just we kind of kick back. So it's a lot of fun. And on Fridays, what I try to do is invite people if you want to call in for a question or something. I just put the StreamYard link in here. And I'll put this on the YouTube and I'll put it in Rumble. And you guys watching on X can see. I do these streams both on YouTube, Rumble, and X. So follow me there. Follow me on X at RAMZPAUL. And if you have questions or comments, help support the show. There's Powerchats. Love those. YouTube has Super Chats. Rumble has rants. And Stream Elements, they have a tip feature that I look at, and I appreciate those too. Yeah, it's been a wild week. It just seems like Trump's been in office like 4 years already. And I mean that in just the amount of work he has done. Now, forget that it's all like really good stuff. Most of it's really good stuff. Forget that. The guy's just been like nonstop. He's been assigning all these executive orders. He went to North Carolina to deal with the people that were ignored there. He's been calling heads of states. He's addressed the media now in these past 4 days more than Joe Biden did during the past 4 years. You had to ask, what the hell was Joe Biden doing? I mean, Joe Biden, I know he was senile, but he basically did nothing. He just ate ice cream and slept a lot. And I was worried about Trump, his age. I think he's 78 years old, and age is a real thing. But my God, that guy he's been a machine. I've been very impressed. We're not even a whole weekend. He was inaugurated on Monday. And every day's been fast and furious. I knew he would do some executive orders, but I thought they would just kind of trickle in. And I thought like the January 6th stuff, they would form a commission. They would review each case and, pardon some people and other people they wanted. Maybe some partial pardons. But that's not what happened. He pardoned everyone. And he's been hitting the ground running, trying to dismantle the anti-white state with the DEI stuff. He's putting pressure on foreign countries, Ukraine and Russia, to end that war. It's just been incredible. It's just been like nonstop, and we'll try to make a little bit of sense of it. Again, I'm not going to go through everything that was done this week because I have my daily show I've been doing on that. But every day there's like tons of content. It was interesting with Biden. Sometimes there's just not much happening with him. And I don't know how you guys feel, but I feel like I imagine someone would have felt in Poland or Czechoslovakia or Hungary when communism finally fell. I just feel a sense of relief. It feels like, wow, as Sasha was talking to me, it just feels like we're kind of normal again. And I know I'm a very cynical guy. I'm cynical, so I know it could change. And maybe this is fool's gold. But so far, it's just felt really good. It feels like America's back. The left, they seem demoralized. There haven't been really any riots. Where did BLM go? Where did Antifa go? And all the big leaders like Zuckerberg is supporting Trump. Bezos, all these big guys are supporting Trump. Is really amazing what has happened. There was definitely a shift in the mood last year. And I think this whole woke, as Elon Musk calls it, the woke mind virus, just finally petered out and it just went insane. And we're into a new mode now. And maybe, I get it. Sometimes we need to be black-pilled. And I'm not a guy that's everything's going to be perfect. And it may go to shit still, and there's still going to be issues. But this first week has been pretty amazing. I'll give Trump an A+ on this week. He's done everything I've expected and more. And I'm enjoying it. I enjoy every day getting up. I love looking at Twitter now, or X, I mean. And there's always something good. Like he's thinking about getting rid of FEMA now. Just incredible stuff. Just one after another. He's doing good on crypto. He's talking good on foreign policy. He's talking get rid of a lot of taxes, all this bureaucracy, anti-white stuff. So I'm feeling pretty good about things here. All right, let's talk a little bit about, I think his big one, the biggest thing was immigration. And this is something that he has really hit the ground running, and I'm really happy with this. And let me just show you a couple of this here. Well, let's see where this is. And this is something that Biden and Kamala Harris could have done. Remember, Kamala Harris was supposedly the border czar. She never even bothered to show up to the border. This is on the southern border. These are Marines coming in to help defend the border. Isn't that great? Our soldiers are actually defending our soil. What a novel concept. And this was all because Trump, day one, declared the border a national emergency. And because there's a lot of cartels and violence, and it was an open door, just no border under Biden, everyone was swarming in. Now they got the troops there to help the border patrol, and it's worked already. That's something that is good to feel proud about your military when they do something like that. And I imagine most young men, when they sign up for the military, they want to protect America. They want to protect their people. And how long has it been since the military's been used to help the interest of normal Americans? They've been used to fight wars for Israel or try to get involved potentially in Ukraine or even in Southeast Asia with Vietnam and everything else, everyone else's interest. Now we have the military actually deploying to help normal Americans. And God bless them. That is really cool to see. And I that is such good optics that Trump had there. It gets you proud. It gets me proud anyway to see that. That is something that is good. And here's some more white pills. I'll give you some more white pills. This is going to be pretty much a white pill stream tonight. And I'm not going to apologize for it. Oops, hang on here. Here we go. Let's take a look at this. These are people. These are deported illegal aliens. They're arriving back in Mexico, and they're issuing the warning to their friends or amigos that I wouldn't recommend trying to cross, because under Trump now, no, you just can't waltz in. You will be arrested and sent back. Look at that. They're going the other way. Isn't this a beautiful sight? Under Biden, we always saw these hordes of like zombies pouring into America. And now we see like a reverse zombie invasion. They're pouring back out. And everyone is getting caught. I don't recommend to cross, because there's a lot of migra. I don't know what that means. Why are they all wearing those masks? I mean, COVID's been over for a long time. So anyone that wears the mask now, it's a red flag. Yeah, there's a couple of categories of people that wear masks now. One are the COVID true believers that was their time in the sun and they're not going to let go. It's like their religion now. I'm not joking. I saw this one story where these true believers of COVID and wearing masks and washing their hands nonstop and being paranoid and social distancing, they rented a bowling alley. It's like all these freaks got together where they could rent a bowling alley and they could all wear masks and social distance and act like fucking weirdos. It's like a cult. It's turned into a cult. So you still see some of these. Usually these wild-eyed like teachers, middle-aged woman, Karen types, they will still wear a mask. Or if anyone else was wearing a mask, I'm thinking you're probably up to no good. You don't want to be your face recognized. And so I don't think these guys are Karens. They probably want to keep their faces hidden. That's why they're wearing the mask. We should just rip those masks off immediately. Look at that. Our Border Patrol's actually doing their job now. They got to be, they had to be demoralized under Biden, where they would catch these people and they had to release them right away. Now they can actually do their job. This is really, really good to see. And instead of all the negative images we have seen over the years, now we see something positive. And so this it's actually happening, and they're telling each other, don't bother coming because we're going to be stopping this. And let me just go check everything here. All right. And again, I'll put this out again. Some people come a little late. Friday nights, I just do like a call-in night. If you guys want to call in, you don't have to use the camera. I'll just put this stream link in the chat. It's always fun to get callers. So, and callers just come in and ask your question or say your comment and then get off, because I want to keep the show going, kind of a good clip. But it's kind of like a Rush Limbaugh when he'd have a caller. What's your question? All right. Some more good news here. This on the immigration front, which is really the key thing. Because if we don't protect our country, we won't have a nation. Breaking: Trump administration has authorized ICE to terminate the parole status of 1.5 million individuals, thereby facilitating their deportation. I don't know what it means for them to be on parole. That doesn't make any sense to me. They're here illegally. They shouldn't be on parole. They should have their asses out of the country. Anyway, the Trump said, no, they're going to be deported. So that's a potential now 1.5 million that we could get out of this country. This is so good news. And I'm happy to see this. And another thing we're seeing, I don't know, I have a link to this, but people are starting to self-deport because they understand the gig's up. You're not going to get all these freebies under Trump. Businesses aren't going to be able to hire you. And I don't think the Trump administration is in the mood to give you free sex changes or gender affirming care or whatever. Those days are over. So adios, go back home. And a lot of them realize it because they're not coming to the country because they're politically persecuted or anything like that. They're coming here because they get free shit and they don't want to be around their people that, turns their nations into a shithole. They want to be around us. They don't really like us, but they like the stuff we can create. And now that there's no incentive for them to be here, a lot of them are moving out real quick on their own. And this is good. And let me just show you some more white pilled images. I think it's good to end the week with the white pill, right? Deportation flights have begun. This is just opposite. I know some people in the military, some people have told me confidentially years ago, they were stationed in El Paso and they said it was kind of secret, but the Biden administration, because of the bad optics of everyone crossing the border, they still wanted people to come in to replace you because they hate white Americans. Most Western leaders do. So, it's bad optics on the border. So what we'll do is we'll just fly them into the United States. And they had these big military planes. They were flying people into El Paso. And then from El Paso, they would fly them into your community. So, they'd be eating your geese at the pond and all this shit. And a disaster. Now these same military transports are used to ship their asses back to their own country. So this is a great sight. Look at this. Isn't this wonderful? It's like we're doing the episode in reverse. It's like you're watching a movie and like, okay, we're going to rewind it. Instead of getting on planes, landing in El Paso, and being distributed in all our neighborhoods and communities, they're leaving the communities. They're going back to El Paso. They're getting their ass on the plane. They're going back to their homeland. It's a sweet sight. And it made my day to see that. That is a really good thing to see this. Okay, we'll get you some more. We're going to continue with a lot of these white-pilled images here. And I know things could change. And we still have the legal problem. We have the H-1B problem. But first things first. And here's U.S. Marines. They've arrived at the U.S.-Mexico border. Beautiful sight. We won't watch it all, but they're there. And I think they could be using, some of the forces may be there to deploy to go into Mexico to start to eliminate some of these cartels. I wouldn't doubt that would happen too. But we're doing a force buildup on the southern border, and I think that will be a good thing. Now, not everyone's happy about it. And, well, here, let's take a look at some of these rates. Not this one. This is another thing I'm going to show you where this guy's real upset by getting back. But here we go.
Everyone. It's a frigid 5 degrees in the pre-dawn hours just outside of Boston, where this team of elite ICE officers is briefing on their targets for the day.
We're going to be targeting some extremely violent offenders today.
Within moments, the officers are on the move with ICE.
See, I don't understand why in the hell were extremely violent offenders allowed to even, why were they wandering around? Right? I can understand, well, I want all illegals to be deported. They're all criminals because they broke our immigration law. They need to go. But the extremely violent ones, they should have been in prison at the bare minimum. Why are they walking our streets? And we know where they are because we're going after them right away now.
Eyes on their first target.
Looks like we got movement, a target vehicle coming out.
One way we can get them with computers is, you remember Biden and Soros, they had an app Oh, I need to declare asylum. And they tell you, here, amigo, press this button. You can declare asylum. And you can stay in the United States. They taught them that. They rehearsed them. But see, they have that. They have these phones, and we know who they are. We should be able to have a GPS locator and figure out, because I don't know how to hide it. We can figure out right where they are, and we could just ship them out. Just ship them out. There's a lot of ways you could do this easier. Just have a big warehouse saying, "Oh, we're giving free shit to you guys. Come on in. You get a new bike, new cell phone." And then when they all come in, you just round them up, send them back out to Mexico.
They quickly take him into custody. He's an MS-13 gang member wanted in El Salvador for aggravated murder. And everyone, it's a frigid.
Oh, hang on. Sorry about that.
Movement, target vehicle coming out.
They quickly take him into custody. He's an MS-13 gang member wanted in El Salvador for aggravated murder. And he has an Interpol red notice out for his arrest.
We are targeting very violent threats to our community.
I'm not going back to Haiti.
One of those threats is this illegal alien from Haiti.
Oh, this is
ICE
that.
says he's a gang member with
I'm not going back to Haiti.
17 criminal convictions in recent years.
Okay, this guy's been arrested 17 times. He came into this country illegally. Can you imagine that? You're coming into a country, you would think, my God, I'm in America. I'm getting all this free welfare. I don't have to live in a shithole around the rest of my people. And you think you'd be grateful. No, 17 times he's been arrested. 17! And you don't get arrested every time you do a crime, because I would assume many crimes you do, you don't get caught. This guy, what the hell?
Trump, you feel me?
Fuck Trump.
Forever, bro.
You feel me? Yo, Biden forever, bro.
Thank Obama for everything that he did for me, bro.
Everyone,
That is great. That is great. That we should run that. In the 4 years, the Republicans need to run that as a campaign ad. As a campaign ad. That is really good to see here. And just a second here. Might get someone to call in. All right. So that was good to see. So, I'm not going, bro. I'm staying here. No, you're going out. Hey, I got a rant for Thomas Jefferson. Wrote the Constitution, or the Declaration of Independence anyway. And the rant is, question, since America has been historically a Protestant majority country, do you think there would be issues with Catholics becoming a majority? The Pope is open borders. I think the whole Catholic versus Protestant thing is not as significant anymore. It's more of a Christian thing against Islam. I know years ago, even different denominations between Protestants would have issues. So I don't see that as a huge issue anymore as it was in the previous times. And hey, we got a caller. Hey, Sasha, how you doing?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yeah, how you doing? Welcome to the show.
Good. I'll keep it quick. I just wanted to say all the stuff Trump's doing is really cool. And it's almost like a fever dream because things were so bad for 4 years, like you said, with all the zombie invasion, basically, and to see the military actually at the border is something I know that I would see. And I'm really glad that Trump is trying to clean up America, because that's what it feels like to me. Like maybe he really does want to keep his promises because his first term was kind of lackluster, and so he's getting old, and maybe he wants to have a legacy and not, go down as like a milquetoast president.
What do you think about that Haitian I just did the story on? He had been arrested 17 times. He was here illegally, and he was arrested in our country 17 times, and he was still roaming the streets.
Well, how the hell did he get here if he came from Haiti?
They're
like a poor-ass country, so they just shipped this guy. See, that's insane. Mm-hmm. Like, that just shows that Biden, they were just nuts.
Yeah,
like, why would you let people like that into the country? It's just bizarre. And then these idiots still are like mad that Kamala didn't win. And it's like, I'm glad I voted for Trump now. I was kind of skeptical, like with the H-1B thing, but then seeing this stuff, I'm like, geez, it would have been so much worse if Kamala got in. They'd probably be busting more of these people in here.
Yeah, a literal violent criminals they have running around in our country. Outrageous. This is crazy.
It is. But I just want to say I think it's cool, and I hope Trump keeps doing it. Keep doing what you're doing. All
All
right.
right, I
I'll talk
agree.
to you later.
Thanks,
All right.
Sasha.
Bye.
And thank you for the call. And if you guys want to, I'll put the link in if you guys want to call in too. So open Friday, you can talk about whatever you want, but we just do a quick question or comment. And then there we go. I put it in there, and I'll put it here now in Rumble if you guys want to call in. All right. And we had some response to that last video, which was a nice thing to see. Here we go. This is the borders are Tom Homan. He commented on that. I love this guy. This is the guy. Once I saw Trump pick this guy, I knew we were in pretty good hands. Remember, Kamala was supposedly the borders are. Well, let's take a look at this guy here.
You see that video, I'm curious, what do you think?
Well, he's wrong. He's going back to Haiti. I can tell him that.
Well, you're wrong. You're going back to Haiti. That is great. So, yeah, the violent criminal, 17 arrests, illegal from Haiti. He is going back. He is going back. He can do his voodoo and cannibalism with his brothers in Haiti. And I think that is wonderful. Now, not everyone is happy. And this is where we got to break this apart too. Let me just show you some of this. We have a group of people that aren't really with the program. They're going to have to be de-radicalized. Right away, you could tell with her eyes, her crazy eyes. She's going to be trouble. She's a shit lib. She's never had original thought in her life. So let's listen.
I just want to say with my entire fucking chest and 10 toes down on my shitty broken tile classroom floor that it will be a cold, no, frozen day in hell before someone from ICE comes in my classroom to remove a student that they suspect is undocumented first. Because
well, they're illegal, number one. And what you think is irrelevant, this is the law. And if you interfere with illegal people being in this country, that's a felony, and we'll put your ass in prison too.
I have no undocumented students. What are you talking about? Second, even if I did, 1982 Plyer versus Doe says that it does not matter. Everyone is entitled to a fair and a free, appropriate education. And that's what I'm here to do.
The entire world is guaranteed a free education, free healthcare, free everything in America, right?
I'm so sorry I can't come to my door right now. We're learning. We're doing class stuff. You're going to have to come back later.
No, they'll just come in and they'll send Juan back to Mexico, and we'll send your entitled bitch ass to prison. How about that?
And by later, I mean never, because there are hills that I will die on, and this is one.
Okay, challenge accepted. I don't have a problem with that. If you should die in that, I would not care. Good riddance. The world would be a better place without you, it sounds like, because you're working to help destroy our nation, to cause harm. I am fine. If she wants to die in that hill, I don't care. No tears for me, that's for sure. So that's got to be our attitude. And but yeah, some of these shit libs are still upset about this, so I'm not really surprised. And here we go. DeSantis has been really good on this too, so let's take a look at some of his comments.
WJXC News Channel 4 here in Jacksonville. I just have 4 questions. One, Florida is home to hundreds of thousands of undocumented immigrants who are working in areas.
Well, you know, just to be, so the federal government has made clear that the statutory term, it's not they're illegal aliens.
That's right. We do not say undocumented. This is federal law now. They're illegal aliens. So keep that undocumented. Oh, I just lost my documents. I should be here though. No, you're an illegal alien. That's the term we're going to use. Just like we officially have 2 genders, male and female. I don't care about unite. I'm non-binary. I'm 2-spirit queer. No, you're either male or female. All the other stuff we don't give a shit about. You can be a man that pretends he's a 2-spirit, non-binary queer. I don't give a fuck. No one gives a fuck. You're a man.
That's the statutory term. That's what it is. And I think it's to try to water down. I mean, like, undocumented, it's like if I get in my car and I forget my wallet, okay, I don't have my document.
Did he? I've never heard anyone else do that comparison. Is Ron listening to Ramsey Paul? I'm like the only one I've ever heard that use that phrase before. That is
On me, like my driver's license. But I mean, I still have a right to drive. I just made a mistake. This is intentional to come in illegally. And it's not just a question of missing a document.
It's not like, oh, I have my documents at home. No.
It's a question of, you violated the law that were very clear and knowingly and with the help of the cartels in many cases.
So I'll rephrase that. So Florida is home to hundreds of thousands of illegal immigrants or illegal aliens, if you want to call it, who are working in areas of agriculture, farming, construction, hospitality. I'm just wondering, once we start to see, these significant roundups of these people, is there a plan in place to help those industries, to prevent those industries from experiencing true hardship, financial hardship?
So here.
Well, I don't know what Ron's going to say, but here's how I would answer this. I'm like, they don't belong here. And we have plenty of Americans that are going to work, and the market will take care of this. If there's a shortage of labor, what happens? If you understand capitalism, supply and demand, the price is going to go up. The price of labor is going to go up, meaning we'll have to pay people more. We have plenty of teenagers that need these jobs. This is how it used to happen. When I was young, jobs that you would consider entry level, let's say McDonald's or landscaping, they were done a lot by white teenagers as their way to get their first job. And so let's hear what his response is.
Here's what I'd say. They made the same arguments on 23 when we did our immigration Cayenne Road. We did E-Verify. When any of those industries, when they hire new people, they've got to verify their immigration status.
That's good.
Otherwise, they can't work. And people said, you are not going to be able to.
And it worked fine. So that's it. Hey, I think I have another caller. So let's take a look at that here. And I'll bring that up here. Oh, yeah. 009. Welcome to the Ramsey Paul Show. How you doing?
I'm doing really good. I just wanted to comment that I'm looking forward to the opportunities in landscaping, the opportunities in scrapping. I'm going to have less competition out there. It's going to be great. I'm going to make tons of money this summer.
You will? It will. It'll be a lot more. There's fewer people, so increase your demand. Yeah.
Well, less people scrapping. There's some metal on the side of the street. That's mine.
Yeah. Yeah. And, people used to do those jobs. Americans used to do those jobs. My wife, Sasha, her family, her grandparents, guess who picked the crops? Her family did. They were migrant workers. So it was done by our people, and it can be done by our people.
Yeah, that's great. I look forward to it. That's all. Have a good one.
Thank you. And thank you, 009, for calling in. And again, I put the link in if you guys want to call in. And if you're worried about not showing your face, when you go into StreamYard, there's an option if you turn on your camera or not. So just turn the camera part off. There's an option, and you can just use audio. Like Sasha, she wasn't using her camera. She's at work. So don't be shy. I'll be nice to you. Just come in like that, have a question or comment, and be part of the show. This is Friday Open Forum. And 009 is also part of my Substack. We do a roundtable every week. He's a great contributor. He's real funny. Kind of, it's got the sense of humor like Sam Hyde a little bit. He's good. So if you want to be part of that, in fact, today I just did a essay that was just for my Substack subscribers. Just join up on Substack. There's a link in the description. I'm moving away from Gumroad and Group App because of technical problems with Gumroad, consolidating on Substack. Substack is very popular. It's very robust. It's technically sound. I never have problems. I post something on Substack. I get a notification on my iPhone like that. There's this app, Substack app, and you get notified right away. So if I put out an article or have a video out, you get it right away. So let me put that up here in the Substack in case you guys were wondering where that is. And also, even if you don't want to pay, oops, let me put that out here again. I also put out usually every day just a essay or a column. Most of them are free. Usually, I'm still deciding how to do it, but right now it's like Monday through Thursday is available for everyone, and Fridays to my subscribers. So, And then also the roundtables we do every Tuesday night or Tuesday afternoon, and those are for the subscribers. So thanks for that. And 009 is part of that, and we have a lot of fun. All right. So that's that. Let's see what else let's go over some more domestic stuff. And I've covered so much bad news in the past. I feel kind of guilty showing good news, but Trump is just like, I just wasn't prepared by this, right? He's just been kicking ass, and here he is talking about California. So let's listen to this. Because again, the California wildfires were due to mismanagement of Gavin Newsom and their DEI staff.
Funding to Los Angeles because of its sanctuary city policy?
I want to see two things in Los Angeles: voter ID, so that the people have a chance to vote, and I want to see the water be released and come down into Los Angeles and throughout the state. Those are the two things. After that, I will be the greatest president that California has ever seen. I want the water to come down and come down to Los Angeles, and also go out to all the farmland that's barren and dry. You know, they have land that they say is the equivalent of the land in Iowa, which is about as good as there is anywhere on earth. The problem is it's artificial, because they artificially stop the water from going onto the land. So I want two things. I want voter ID for the people of California, and they all want it. Right now you don't have voter ID. People want to have voter identification. You want to have proof of citizenship. Ideally, you have one-day voting, but I just want voter ID as a start, and I want the water to be released, and they're going to get a lot of help from the U.S. Thank you very much.
That's a good policy. A lot of the problem they had with the wildfires is Gavin Newsom, because of their wacky environmental policies. And again, I'm support the environment, but they're preventing water. They destroyed a dam that provided a lot of water to the Southern California. This is why in like the 1970s and 80s, they had wildfires, but it wasn't that, they were able to handle them. And voter ID, that is to ensure that only citizens vote, that you're allowed to vote. It just makes sense. You have to use ID to buy liquor or buy a pack of cigarettes. Why shouldn't you have to show an ID to vote? And that's racist. Blacks don't know how to get an ID. That is so patronizing. They know how to get an ID. So, yeah, that is a bad thing. Hey, we got Jake on. Welcome to the Ramsey Paul Show. Jake, how you doing?
Hey, good evening. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, what's up?
A couple questions and just thoughts that I had, and I wanted to see what you thought. Number one, with the California wildfire thing, I had a wild, crazy idea. What if Trump said, all the Mexicans don't need to get deported. They can go to California and help rebuild and give them a bunch of jobs. California already has a demographic that's heavily Mexican. And I think the damage cost is like $250 million. If you sent a million illegals over there, that's $250,000 potentially for them to be able to rebuild. And I almost think this whole event was like orchestrated and deliberate, and that they are setting this up to happen. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm not for keeping illegals here. They need to go through the proper process. So I would just deport them. I think we have enough Americans. And again, there's a lot of Mexicans that are Americans, and they definitely can do the job for firefighting and so forth. So I support Trump. I think we need conditions, and they need to eliminate the bad policies that created these fires, and then we can help the people. And there's plenty of Americans, of both white Americans and Mexican Americans, that can help out in the rebuilding. That's for sure.
I think they'll have, the majority of construction workers are Mexican. And I think, if Trump would be a genius to say, hey, look, there's some of you that are skilled, go to California. We'll set you up over there. I am kind of having a bit of a defeatist, black-pilled attitude that California is kind of a lost cause. Like, give the liberals California. Let them have it. But, yeah, I think I do agree. We don't need to concede or have California leave the union or anything. But I think
Yeah.
Trump, that'd be a genius move to set it up where we rebuild. Because, you know, it's a sob story. We're setting up a humanitarian crisis where we're going to hear families are separated. But if we actually give them a stake in California, I think Trump would be a genius if he did that.
Yeah, they tried that with that crying lady at the border, but it didn't seem to move many people. I think people are tired of all these illegals, and I predicted the media will show a little crying kid, of course, but I don't know how much impact that will have anymore. I think people are really tired of that. And, we can frame this in a good way that, we allow people to come in legally, and that's good, but people, they got to follow the process. And by the way, if we send them back, that we send them away from white supremacy. They don't have to be around us.
So okay, question number 2
Yeah.
I had, or just thoughts here. The January 6th people that got released. So 1,500 people got released. Quite a bit of people.
Yeah.
I think, and I guess the question is, how many of those people are going to end up right back in jail? And the media is going to want to spin this story off as soon as they can find someone, a white supremacist or a neo-Nazi was caught with a bunch of guns. That's going to go straight to the headlines. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think it could happen, but I don't think the majority of people that were arrested for January 6th were habitual criminals. I think they were mostly patriotic Americans that were there, and they thought they could go in the Capitol. A lot of them were waved in, and they didn't do anything violent. They were just peaceful protesters. Now, obviously, there could be a few bad apples, and whenever you have a big crowd, you're always going to get some bad apples and troublemakers. And if those people should commit crimes, then they should go to prison. Just because you're pardoned doesn't mean everything in the future you're off on. So, if someone's on January 6th and they're pardoned for what they did on trespassing, if they later should murder someone, well, those are two different things. And yeah, they should be thrown into prison or executed for the murder. But you got to try the people for what they did. And if they didn't do anything violent and they were just trespassing, especially the precedent based on BLM and Antifa where nothing was done, it's just outrageous they got these prison sentences. And yeah, if some of them later should commit serious crimes, then they should be prosecuted. I think that would be Trump's position.
Yeah, a lot of people have the fear that Trump just had, he released all these people, and now he has a private army. And they're like, well, these people are going to come after Trump's political enemies. I don't think that's the case at all. But I can see the headlines writing.
I don't see that these people.
Supremacists.
Yeah,
January 6th.
I don't know. These people, they just seem like older people, just normal, good Americans, people that aren't really even part of groups. So I don't see anything like a private army or something like that. No,
I don't agree with that either. But that is some of the thoughts that I'm seeing. And
all right.
I don't know. Sometimes you have to stay a step ahead and predict the headlines before they come.
Hey, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
Thanks for your time.
All right, excellent. And let me just remove him. And thanks for calling in. I got a $50 super sticker from Scrawny Raisin. That is so generous. Thank you. I really do appreciate that. He brought up some good points. I wouldn't keep the illegals in America to help rebuild California. We have enough legal people in America of all races. There's a lot of legal Mexicans here, Mexican Americans. And so we got plenty of people that can do the job to rebuild California. We don't need to keep the illegals. And the second point about January 6th, what if some people in January 6th should later commit crimes? Well, then they should be punished. Most of the people in January 6th that I saw seemed like really good people, really just patriotic people. You can usually tell. I bet the majority of people that were arrested on January 6th never had a run-in from the law. And I get what this guy's saying, because with violent crimes, like that Haitian, and years ago when I did jury duty, I learned this because I was talking to the court officials. I was in Tulsa County Court. You see the guys walking around and dressed in orange with shackles. And I was talking to one of the people there. They said, we see the same people, day in and day out. Meaning they arrest these people, They may serve a little bit of time in prison and then they're released. And then within days, they do another crime. And you have a very small percentage of people of all races, by the way, that do all the crimes. They're habitual. They just continually do crimes. And there's really, I don't think, many ways to reform them, except you just got to keep them in prison. And I'm not saying you shouldn't give people chances, but there's no way, like that Haitian we saw. Well, he shouldn't have been in the country in the first place because he was illegal. But let's say if he was legal, we shouldn't have the situation where someone does a horrific murder and then you found out they've been arrested 54 times for violent crimes or something like that. No. Okay, maybe once you're arrested, you do some time, maybe we let you out, see if you can do better, maybe you rehabilitate. But there comes a time, you do it over and over, we just lock you up and throw away the key. I don't really care anymore, or we execute you. And it's a small percent of people that do the same crimes over and over and over. And the people at January 6th, for the most part that I saw, probably never committed a crime in their life. They probably never even had a speeding ticket in their life. These aren't the people now that are going to be running around doing crimes. I'd be really shocked. Hey, $20 rant. Aqua 1917. Trump is a genius negotiator. He's really, I agree with that. I mean, he is. The guy is larger than life, in my opinion. I mean, he's going to go down, I think, one of the greatest presidents ever, most impactful. And the contrast between him and Biden is very jarring, just jarring. Biden just seems so out of it, so low energy, so confused. And again, forget about the policies, if you like the policies or not. Just how they interacted was night and day. Trump, love him or hate him, and I hate the term because it's misused, but he is like an alpha male. He's just, if he's in a room of people, he's the center stage. Most people defer to him. And he comes across with huge confidence, and you just see it when he's around Europeans. They're all the European leaders look at him. Whereas with Biden, they all kind of felt sorry for Biden. Remember, because he had to be like a tard wrangler because he'd wander off and he'd get confused. So the difference is just amazing, and he is a pretty good negotiator. And we're going to be talking about some of that here too. I got some stories on that. It's hard to keep up with that. But the last story, I agree with Trump. We got to put conditions. We don't have the money just to piss away on LA if they're not going to do the proper things to help protect themselves. And that is what is happening. Now, a lot of people are talking about a vibe shift, and we're really seeing that. Let me show you an example of this. We're on domestic stuff here. Breaking, Target has joined Walmart as the latest massive retailer to get rid of its DEI programs in the wake of the 2024 election. This is big. Target is based in Minneapolis. They were the ones loudly spouting BLM rhetoric as their stores were looted in 2020. The vibe has shifted big time. It has. And it's interesting. It's sort of like recently COVID. Remember all the craziness that happened in COVID? Then everyone wants to pretend that never happened. Like, oh no, we didn't have social distancing. No, there wasn't lockdowns. What are you talking about? No, stores weren't closed. It's just like this gaslighting. We went through this really crazed phase. It's similar to like the French Revolution went through in a brief period of time, about the same period of time, where everyone, not everyone, you guys didn't and I didn't, but a lot of people just went totally insane with COVID, BLM. Oh, George Floyd, he's like a saint. And like, no, he's a thug, died of a drug overdose. The world's better without him. And then they're just like, all just went crazy. White people are evil. And oh my God, guys that wear a dress, there are girls. And it was just insane. And last year I detected it, just something just snapped and that just quit. And now all these places are like, we never did that. We never bought into this. So Target was, I've always said most businesses, they'll go along with whatever the regime is doing. And they're happy, if it's Nazism, and literally, if we had a Nazi government, Target would be happy to put swastikas up. I'm not joking, they would. But if we're communist, hey, they're going to put the hammer and sickle up. If it's woke, yeah, they'll put obese black women that are transgender up as photos. That's how corporations tend to act. And so we're seeing the change here, and this is a really good thing. Because Target was pretty bad with all... Remember, they even had a section of stores dedicated sodomy to little children. Just horrible stuff. And it is good that's going away. And again, we had some more huge businesses following the lead of dropping all this. Jeff Bezos, Amazon, right? Huge. Has removed statements advocating for LGBTQ rights and racial equity from his public listing of corporate policies. And again, equity is not the same as equality. Equality is you give everyone the same chance and you take the best person, no matter their sex or their race. Equity is that you pick blacks over whites, for example. That's what equity means. And they've removed that all. So again, this is really good news. And I think it's because of the Trump victory. And people are tired of this. And I almost have a sense, and the sense I've always said we on the right, in some ways we have a big disadvantage because our enemy, they control Hollywood and the media, and that is in the educational establishment. That's a big disadvantage. But we have like reality and the truth in our favor, right? Because this reality, a man with a penis and a beard, if he puts on a dress and he goes in a woman's bathroom and starts to masturbate to women, he's not a woman. He's not a woman. He's a pervert that's masturbating to women. I shouldn't even have to say this. The fact I'm having to say this is just how crazy it became. And I made a post on X today that I could see 50 years in the future, people are going to say, no, I mean, really back in 2020, they really believed if a man put on a dress, he was a woman, that he had a penis? Really? Is that what they believe that? And yeah, it looks like some people really believe that. It's going to be astounding that people believe that nonsense, but this is where we are now. Okay, some more domestic news with Trump. So the whole woke stuff seems to be going into the ash heap of history. Hopefully other countries will follow our lead. And this is going to get a lot of people excited, but I'll give you my take on this here a second.
Lastly, sir, we have an executive order ordering the declassification of files relating to the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Senator Robert F. Kennedy, and Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.
That's a big one, huh? A lot of people are waiting for this for years, for decades. And everything will be revealed. Okay.
I love the painting behind him. That's Andrew Jackson. He reminds me a lot of Andrew Jackson.
Give that to RFK Jr.
That's a nice touch. He said, give that pen to RFK Jr. because RFK Jr. wanted to see the classified files.
Yes, sir.
That's really cool. All right. My opinion on this, some people will disagree with this. My opinion is there's not going to be anything. The reason they were classified wasn't because, oh, well, it shows that Israel was behind the assassination attempt or something else, whatever your favorite conspiracy, or the CIA was behind the assassination attempt, or the deep state. I think what they redacted was just embarrassing shit. Sexually and other behaviors that these people, JFK did. I'm not sure about Robert F. Kennedy, probably, but definitely Martin Luther King did. JFK and Martin Luther King were very degenerates. They really were. And the FBI knew that because the FBI does their investigation. They have to get into your personal life. And JFK Jr., John F. Kennedy, he cheated on his wife a lot. He had a lot of mistresses, is pretty well known, including probably Marilyn Monroe. And Jackie his wife Jackie was really upset about it. I heard a special about how Jackie was really upset about Marilyn Monroe, and she had threw a fit about that when, she sang her "Happy Birthday to You" in a real sexual way. And supposedly they had just fucked hours before the president, Marilyn Monroe. And that really humiliated Jackie. Jackie knew that he fucked around, but she kind of, what are you going to do? She tolerated it, but she didn't want to be embarrassed. So I think so when you look at the assassination, what's going to come out of the files that has been redacted is just going to be his, I think, sexual affairs he's had. And we're starting to see this here already, and we'll see this is supposedly has already come out, and people already knew this, but they haven't seen the official FBI files. And supposedly the FBI's files are showing Martin Luther King Jr. had a lot of affairs with multiple women. That's pretty well known. Participated in gay orgies, abused drugs, paid prostitutes for sex, and was an alcoholic. Yeah, I mean, it won't matter that these FBI files are released and it shows this, because the true believers, including the GOP, because they like to think something about Martin Luther King Jr. who he wasn't. Martin Luther King Jr., he goes, "Oh, judge people not by the color of the skin, but the content of the character." And so modern GOP says, yeah, that's what we got to support. Martin Luther King Jr., the Reverend, he would be horrified about the modern wokeness. I'm like, no, he wouldn't. He'd be part of that. He was a communist. He wasn't a good man. He has sex with teenagers. He was a piece of shit in his real life, but they try to cover that up. And the FBI had all this data on him. They knew, just like they knew with John F. Kennedy, that he was in the same way. So I think, and I could be wrong, I don't think there's going to be any huge revelations about, again, the CIA or Israel or anything like that with either of them. I think the secret stuff they redacted was that, oh, well, both of these people, they fucked around. Well, yeah, big surprise there. I think all of us knew that, but now we'll see it in the FBI files. All right. Trump is smart in a lot of ways. And this probably would, all the DEI stuff, you think that the black community would get mad at him, but this will win his favor back with them. President Trump revokes Joe Biden's menthol cigarette ban. And for whatever reason, I don't know, I'm not a smoker. Maybe you guys that smoke can explain it to me. But blacks, they love menthol cigarettes. I don't know why, but it's true, so it's like the stereotypes are based in the somewhat truth. Like fried chicken, blacks love fried chicken in general. And when it comes to cigarettes, they love menthol. I don't know why. Maybe you guys can explain that to me. And Biden regime, they banned the menthol cigarettes because, it hurts blacks because, we don't want black people to smoke. But it should be their choice. They're adults. I don't think cigarettes should be banned. If you want to smoke, that should be up to you. I don't want you smoking in my face, but, I don't really care if you want to smoke. I'm not anti-smoking, really. I'm kind of a libertarian that way, if whatever you want to do in your house or whatever, I don't care. It doesn't make me think less of you. In fact, I always thought smoking is kind of sexy when a girl smokes. I know I get a lot of pushback on that, but I really do. I always thought it is. So now I'm not advocating smoking, but it doesn't bother me. And so doing this is really smart. He's going to get a lot of black support for this, even more than the DEI and all these big question items. I've always said we could get a lot of people to leave the country because they're very a high tide preference. So they just act impulsively. So you can say, hey, if you leave the country for good, we'll give you this shiny new iPhone. We'll give you this new iPhone. We'll give you some bling. And they'll be like, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take the bling as long as I have to leave the country forever, but I got the bling. I got a new gold chain, And so they would do that. They would take that. And so you don't have to do much. really to pacify certain groups of people. And this, seriously, this seems ridiculous, but it's going to get Trump really high marks with the black community. So that was pretty cool. Let's see here. There's so much stuff to go over, right? I almost just like run out of time to do this all because there's just so much stuff that Trump has. It's only been, 4 days, and Trump has just been going crazy. So it's really good to see this here. All right. Trump, we'll see him here. And again, I don't know what the hell Biden was doing all these years. Here we go.
That ended up being very short. I'm
All right.
pleased.
So despite doing all this other stuff, his first week in office, one of the first trips he did, and this shows Trump's heart, was to the citizens of North Carolina. These were the people that were ignored by the Biden regime. This was the hurricane and the floods because most of these people are rural whites, and the Biden regime, they hate rural whites. They don't like Christians. They didn't like white people. And you remember it came out FEMA, that black lady got in trouble because she said, don't help anyone that has a Trump sign or it seems to be a Republican. Don't give them any help. FEMA. And then she got in trouble. She says, hey, I'm just following policy. This is FEMA's policy. And because of that, Trump says he may eliminate FEMA. That would be good. But anyway, Trump wanted to show that he doesn't care if these people are poor white people or rural people. Not everyone rural, by the way, is poor. I don't know how people really get that idea that just because you're rural, you're poor. The guy that lives next to me, I don't know if has an 8th grade education. I really don't. He's lived on this mountain his whole life. He used to own the whole damn mountain. I mean that literally. That guy is full of money too. So you can make fun of him as a hillbilly, but he's richer than a lot of us, I'll tell you that.
To announce that under our leadership, the federal government will be surging housing solutions to the state that go beyond mere temporary hotel stays that ended up being very short term. The government wouldn't do it any longer, which is ridiculous. We'll marshal all available resources to bring back potable water and make your water. And
isn't this cool? Isn't this cool that actually has a president that cares about American citizens? I mean, we've had presidents care about Ukrainians and Israelis and everyone else in the world, but not us. We actually have a president that cares about American citizens. Yeah, I know, Trump's a Zionist, but he still cares about American citizens. He went to North Carolina. Biden didn't do that, nor did Kamala.
Infrastructure dramatically more reliable very quickly. Today, I'll also be signing an executive order slashing all red tape and bureaucratic barriers and permits to ensure the rapid reconstruction of the roads here in western North Carolina. We're going to go through a permitting process that's called no permitting, just get it done. That's the way they built them many years ago, I guarantee you that, right?
This is right, because part of the problem with what happened in North Carolina is these roads were wiped out, and the government wouldn't give you permits. That's just a bureaucratic, you got to do an environmental statement. Oh, do you have enough black lesbians working on the project? You got to have that before we approve it. Just crazy shit like that. And so some people I saw, some good old boys, they made their own road, and they probably got in trouble for that. So Trump's saying, fuck that. These people can make the roads. Let's just make the roads. And that's going to be key. So good for Trump on that. And it shows that Trump actually has a good heart for regular people. These aren't people that are rich or going to give him a lot of money, but he's really, I think, a good guy. So good for Trump on that. I'm impressed with that. That was a good thing to see. All right, now we go. Trump's talking about a previous criminal we had, Dr. Fauci. The winning just doesn't stop. Here we go.
You can't have a security detail for the rest of your life because you work for government.
Yeah, I didn't even know. Did you know Fauci, that piece of shit? He was the highest paid government official. Plus, he has Secret Service protection. What the hell's up with that? I thought Secret Service is just for the president and vice president. You're just some fucking bureaucrat. You get Secret Service protection for life.
Yeah, we'll see what happens.
Do you feel partially responsible if something were to happen to, say, Dr. Fauci
No.
or John Bolton?
No.
She said, will you feel responsible if something happens to Fauci or John Bolton? No. I love the answer.
You know, they all made a lot of money. They can hire their own security, too.
Yeah, why not? Hire their own security.
All the people you're talking about, they can go out. I can give them some good numbers of very good security people.
Trump said, hey, they can pay for their own security. They made millions of dollars on their bullshit. They can buy their own security. Hey, if they need recommendations, I could give them some contact numbers.
Well, they can hire their own security. They all made a lot of money. Fauci made a lot of money. They all did. So if they, felt that strongly, I think that certainly I would not take responsibility.
Yeah, excellent for that. So it was so cringy how people used to worship Fauci. And so, yeah, Fauci's got to pay for his own security. He's not going to be able to suck off the taxpayers anymore. All right, some more great stuff. We're just having a fun Friday night. We're just going over great stuff that happened this week. I'm not even going over all the stuff that happened this week, just recent stuff in the last day.
And by the way, speaking of you, and you've done a fantastic job, but I hope you start opening your bank to conservatives, because many conservatives complain that the banks are not allowing them to do business within the bank. And that included a place called Bank of America. They don't take conservative business. And I don't know if the regulators mandated that because of Biden or what, but you and Jamie and everybody, I hope you're going to open your banks to conservatives, because what you're doing is wrong.
He's right. That is wrong. And it did happen. We'll see Bank of America's response. I wrote my article on Substack about this today, by the way. So if you want to get some more insight, I'll do my shilling here. Subscribe to me on Substack. You'll see my article on this.
Mr. President, I'll say that your friend Gianni said hello, told me to tell you hello, and we look forward to sponsoring the World Cup when it comes, both this summer for the club and next year. So thank you for getting that for the United States.
All right. So Trump was saying it's wrong for Bank of America how they censored people or debanked them because of their political point of view. And the Bank of America, their response was basically that they didn't do nothing. They didn't do nothing. That never happened. But that's not true. There's been tons of people that lost their bank accounts. And let's see here. And I explained this in my essay today, or my article today. This really started with the 2001 Patriot Act. The idea was that we don't want terrorists to be able to use our banking system. And when people thought of this, they thought of people named like Muhammad or Abdul that are part of some Al-Qaeda group. We don't want them to have bank accounts. And so everyone, rah, rah. But what happened, what became a terrorist, well, who defines what's a terrorist or potential terrorist? Well, the SPLC-ADL defines. And if you're a white nationalist or white supremacist, you're a potential terrorist. Oh, and if you don't think we should have unlimited immigration into America, you're a potential terrorist. Oh, if you think maybe Israel should open their borders, that's a potential terrorist. Oh, if you don't think we should spend more of our tax money on Israel, oh, that's a potential terrorist. If you support Trump, oh, that's a potential terrorist. So they use that designation by these assholes. By the way, the SPLC-ADL, they should be under RICO. They should be arrested. The money they get, they need to pay reparations to the damage they did. They ran a criminal enterprise. It's outrageous how they violated civil rights. But that's how we got debanking happen, by the way. And it did happen. It was real. And the people need to, they can't just, oops, sorry about that. No, fuck them. They did a lot of hardship. They have to pay reparations to people they harmed. And here was the recording that people got about that were debanked. And again, a lot of these people that were debanked ended up being like what we would call basically CivNat Republican types, right? Not really that radical at all, but they still got debanked.
If you have recently received a letter stating your account or accounts are being closed, the reason for this is that Bank of America made a business decision to close the account and/or we have determined you're operating in a business type we have chosen not to service at Bank of America.
Well, maybe we'll make a business decision not to tolerate these people. Maybe we'll make a business decision not to tolerate these CEOs. How do you like that, CEOs? We're going to make a business decision to close some things of you.
It is a Bank of America policy that we do not provide any additional information regarding our decision to close an account, and the decision to close the account will not be reconsidered.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe we'll have the same criteria with you when we throw your ass in jail. We won't reconsider it, and we won't tell you exactly what you did. How about that? How about that? And this was the guy, John Eastman. He was part of the Daily Caller. And again, Daily Caller is very pro-Jewish, Sivnatish, and he had his bank account closed. So, yeah, because, terrorist, because you're saying things we don't like. I hate those patron. I just can't wait to use them on these fuckers. Oh, CEO, sorry, it's against our policy to have you walk around free. Yeah, against our policy, sorry, thank you for shopping with us, though. We'll have an AI voice tell them that. And that'd be just great. That'd just be great. That'd be just great. We are choosing not to have you, we're choosing not to tolerate you son of a bitches running around our society. Yeah, sorry about that. Decision's final. Oh, I guess you can appeal it. Psst, in the trash. I would just love to do it. These fucking censors. All right, here we go. And this is Bank of America. Bank of America serves more than 70 million clients, and we welcome conservatives. We will never close accounts for political reasons. We don't have a political litmus test. Well, but they do if you start a conservative organization or you do things that they don't like and speak out. They will shut you down. Yeah, probably if you keep your mouth shut and you're secret and you don't let anyone know you're secretly conservative, they won't shut your bank account. But as this guy said, fuck you, Bank of America. This is a complete lie. You debanked me, and I don't know who Eric D. Prince is, my children, stepchildren, and the hell you even debanked my ex-wife and her new husband because their account received child support payments from me. Fix yourself and clear out your illegal discriminatory bank practices. Yeah, this should not be allowed. Banks shouldn't be, banks can't in America could say, oh, no, we're not going to give you a bank account because you're a Jew. No, you're a Jew. We don't do business with Jews. That's illegal. It should be illegal for them to say, if you're doing legal speech, they should not be allowed to shut you down. Yes, if you're a terrorist and actually doing real terrorism, that's actually like killing people, not, oh, your mean words are terrorism. Fuck you. That's not terrorism. It should be illegal. And again, it's just not a matter, I'm sure now because Trump, Bank of America is going to change on this, but that's not enough. These people need to pay. They need to pay damages. And people need to go to prison for this. And this is what has to happen. All right. And Trump here, he has some more stuff he talked about the whole censorship industry. He's been so good on this. So let's take a look
once
here.
Again, in addition, I'm pleased to report that America is also a free nation once again. On day one, I signed an executive order to stop all government censorship. No longer will our government label the speech of our own citizens as misinformation or disinformation, which are the favorite words of censors and those who wish to stop the free exchange of ideas and, frankly, progress. We have saved free speech in America, and we've saved it strongly.
Yeah, this is what these assholes used to do because they don't like to call themselves censors. Oh, we're just preventing misinformation and disinformation. Oh, really? Well, who decides what's misinformation and disinformation? Oh, I do, and my purple hair and green haired colleagues decide that. Yeah, go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. So no more of that. And good for Trump on that. And the other thing Trump did, let me just check a look here. See if this is still good. So Trump, I was just seeing what crypto's at here. Oh, I got a super chat. Thank you, Jonathan Doha. Thank you, Jonathan. I'm in Alberta, Canada. Hey, are you guys our 51st state yet? Sadly, the insane leftist government of Trudeau will burn Canada down. I think Trudeau, and I'm not a Canadian, but isn't he resigning? I could be wrong. He will take anyone who shows up at the border, and then our economy collapses and tries to blame Trump. Please invade and free us. And I'm not an expert in Canadian politics, but my understanding, and Jonathan, correct me if I'm wrong, is that Trudeau is stepping down, although he's still the prime minister, and there's going to be an election in Canada in March, and that conservative Pierre, whatever, he seems okay. I've listened to him. Will probably be the new prime minister. I could be wrong, but that's what I'm hearing of the Conservative Party. And I think Trudeau's of the Liberal Party. We'll see what difference that makes. Again, Trump's going to have ramifications around the world. And I think we're going to see a lot more conservative right-wing governments come in. Yeah, Trudeau's been a disaster. And all kidding aside, I really do love Canadians. I had this lady, she watches the show, I won't say her name, but she's a medical doctor. She invited me up to Canada a few years ago. She had a small conference, I spoke. She showed me around Toronto. It's really sad even there. You didn't see many white Canadians in Toronto, a bunch of Indians. They've lost their homeland. It's really, really sad. And Canadian people are such good people. I hate to see that happen to them. So thank you, though, for that generous super chat. And as far, I know Trump keeps talking about Canada becoming the 51st state. I don't want that, no offense. But if Canada was a state, they would be the largest state, larger than California. And they would go Democrat every election and would never have a Republican again. Canada's got a lot of problems. I don't want to import those problems. And I'd be fine taking real Canadians into America. Maybe we could accept you as refugees. You know, white Canadians, or I would welcome you in and just leave Canada to Indians and Muslims, I guess, and let it end up where it ends up, a cold Calcutta or something. But yeah, I feel bad for really what's happened in Canada. It's been really sad. Sad, 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 sad. All right. Oh, where was I here? Oh, I was going to show this. I always like to look at my crypto. I don't own a lot, but I own some. And Trump's been very good to me. And this is it.
And this, David, is?
Yeah, this is the crypto EO. We're going to be forming an internal working group to make crypto, to make America the world capital in crypto under your leadership.
Which is really going up, right?
Absolutely.
All right, David, that's for you.
Thanks, sir.
You find them exciting? They might not be exciting, but they're going to make a lot of money for the country.
He's right. He really is. And, you know, I joke about Trump being a boomer and disconnected, but he is connected well on that. And he has good business sense, and crypto is here to stay. In many ways, it has a lot more advantages than gold. It's easier to break apart and stuff. I'm a believer now, and he wants to make America free for crypto. He wants to eliminate the capital gains tax on crypto, and he wants to make it so the government really doesn't regulate it that much. You know, it's not that central control. He's been very good in crypto, so that has been very, very good. So thank you, Donald Trump, on that. All right. We had our super chat from the exotic country of Canada. So let's go over some foreign stuff here. One of the things that's interesting, I thought Trump myself, when I heard this, was trolling, but I'm starting to think he's not really trolling. And what happened, Trump had a call with the president or prime minister, whatever they have in Denmark, right? It's a little country, and they own Greenland. And Trump wants to buy Greenland. And he's serious about it. And everyone thought, oh, he's just joking, right? It's just Trump being Trump, throwing shit out there to be funny. but it seems like he's serious. New Danish officials are utterly freaked out and in crisis mode. That's good. They need to be in crisis mode and freaked out. After Trump told them he intends to acquire Greenland during a 45-minute call. I would have loved to listen to that call. Trump was firm in his pursuit to acquire Greenland during a call with Denmark's prime minister and some woman or something, according to the Financial Times. 5 European officials were briefed about the call and were in shock to find that Trump is serious about acquiring Greenland. Officials hoped he was joking or his statements were just a negotiating tactic. Trump was very firm. It was a cold shower. Before, it was hard to take it seriously, but I do think it's serious and potentially very dangerous, one said recently. The intent was very clear. They wanted the danger now in crisis mode. The danger utterly freaked out about it. Oh, what's Denmark going to do? Do they even have an army? It's a very tough conversation. He threatened specific measures against Denmark, such as targeted tariffs. Let's listen to Trump on this here.
Greenland is a wonderful place. We need it for international security. And I'm sure that Denmark will come along. I think it's costing them a lot of money to maintain it, to keep it. The people of Greenland are not happy with Denmark, as you know. I think they're happy with us. We had representatives, my son and representatives went up there 2 weeks ago, and they like us. So we'll see what happens. But Greenland is necessary, not for us, it's necessary for international security. You have Russian boats all over the place. You have China boats all over the place, warships. And they can't maintain it.
Reminds me of the scene in The Godfather. I tweeted this where, did you guys ever watch The Godfather? There's a classic, I'm sure you have, is the classic scene. And let me see if I have that up here. Oh, geez, I keep hitting the wrong thing here. But he's going to, Trump is going to make him an offer that they can't refuse. That's basically it with Greenland. And let me see. Yeah, it kind of reminded me of this. This was when Michael Corleone went to Las Vegas to buy out Mo Green, who is really like Bugsy Siegel. Trump, is my credit good enough to buy you out? Denmark, buy me out. Trump, Greenland, the island. The United States wants to buy you out. Your island loses money. Maybe we can do better. I'm really getting that vibe. Trump's not kidding. He is saying, I'm going to get Greenland. And Denmark, what are you going to do about it? You're going to give us Greenland. I've talked about this before. I'm kind of mixed on this. In a sense, I'm against it officially, but it's not, the whole idea of Canada would be a disaster. Greenland would be our smallest state population-wise. Ironically, geographically, it'd be our largest state. It's a huge island. Huge. There's a lot of natural resources there, and it controls a lot of the key Arctic routes. That's why Trump wants it. There's only 56,000 people there. And I don't know where you live, but that's not even the size of Fayetteville, Arkansas. Fayetteville's the nearest big city I live near. And Fayetteville's about 97,000. So it's like almost half the size of Fayetteville, a little 60% the size of Fayetteville. And Fayetteville's not a big city. So it's amazing. There's hardly anyone that lives in Greenland. So you could probably buy him out. But I'm getting the sense that he's not trolling. He wants Greenland, and he kind of sees the United States in the expanding mode. But the problem with it is, I guess the people in Greenland, they're mostly unemployed Eskimos that live off welfare, and they always vote to the left. So we would get 2 more Democrat senators. Now, the electoral vote wouldn't matter because it'd be like 1 vote. They're so small. But I don't know if I want to add more senators that are Democrats to the Senate. I just don't want that. And we can get what we want out of Greenland anyway. It's not really a threat. I just don't see the advantage of having that. But Trump, you know, he sees us as expanding still. He's like, hey, just because it's the 21st century, why can't we expand? I think Trump would envision, let's get Greenland, let's get Canada, and let's get the moon, and then we'll get Mars. I know it sounds crazy, but that's how he thinks. And so the Greenland thing is just not a troll. It seems like here's some more arguments on this. Trump seems quite adamant. He, give us Greenland and we're going to put tariffs on you. This is absolutely tremendous. The government of Denmark took Trump seriously and not literally, and assumed that Greenland was a negotiating tactic and that rather than a very explicit plan. They got burned on the phone. He's going to get Greenland for us. I don't know. It is interesting. I don't think anyone saw that coming, but I'm of the belief now, I don't think it's a negotiating tactic either. I think he really wants Greenland and he's not bullshitting. But you never know with Trump, because if you're going to be a good negotiator, sometimes you got to let people think you're serious even when you're not serious. So, that is a situation there. Now, the big one is that I have to be honest, it's hard for me to get my head around. There's certain things in my life I never thought I would see, like getting rid of affirmative action or DEI. I couldn't believe that, but it's happening. But now talking about taking part Canada as part of the United States, I mean, Greenland, I never saw that, but I could see Greenland first. But Canada? Wow. I mean, we invaded Canada during the Revolutionary War. We got our asses kicked, but I just don't, I never saw that on the table. And well, let's listen to Trump. And he's not, I don't think, joking here. Let's take a listen. Let's listen to him.
I think we're going to be demanding is we're going to be demanding respect from other nations. Canada, we have a tremendous deficit with Canada. We're not going to have that anymore. We can't do it. I don't know if it's good for them. As you probably know, I say you can always become a state. And if you're a state, we won't have a deficit. We won't have to tariff you, et cetera, et cetera. But Canada has been very tough to deal with over the years. And it's not fair that we should have a $200 billion or $250 billion deficit. We don't need them to make our cars, and they make a lot of them. We don't need their lumber because we have our own forests, et cetera, et cetera. We don't need their oil and gas. We have more than anybody. So, just as an example.
So what Trump is doing here, I guess we run a deficit with Canada, and Trump is America first. And I like Canadians, but Trump's saying we don't need anything from Canada. We can build cars here in America. We don't have to build them in Canada. We don't need their wood. We have plenty of trees in America, our forest industry. We have more energy than Canada has, so we don't need to get energy from Canada. He's basically saying, fuck you, Canada. We're going to build the stuff here. And if you anything that you try to send to America, we're just going to put a tariff on. And I've been starting to follow Canada a little bit. And they've been in a real huge spiral because of Trudeau. They brought in millions of Indians. It hasn't helped the country like they thought it would. Diversity is our greatest strength. Instead, it's increased crime. And it's brought Canada. Canada was almost on the level of America, a standard of living. Now they're going to like Mexico status. They're really a poor country. I heard a stat. In fact, that leader of the Conservative Party, Pierre, whatever, he said the stat that basically Canada has the income of a Mississippi. Then the average worker makes what someone in Mississippi makes. Mississippi's our poorest state in wages, but that's like the average Canadian's salary. But they have a cost of living like California. So they're extremely expensive to live in Canada. Everything's expensive. Food, housing, forget about it. You can't afford a house. And they have all this land, but they have such a corrupt socialist government that they're poor. And these tariffs, it would destroy Canada. It would utterly destroy Canada. They understand that. And Trump's like, I don't give a shit. We're bringing manufacturing and jobs back here in the United States. If you don't like it, bitch, become the 51st state. then we won't put a tariff on you. So I don't know. It doesn't sound like Trump's trolling. It sounds like he is very real about that. And we have a problem throughout the West. And I have my ancestry is British, hundreds of years ago. So I feel bad for the people of England. I always make fun of them because they're kind of my people. But really what's happening in Britain is wokeism to like a crazy level where they just actually hate white people. They hate their own people. And let me just show you this. It's really shocking when you see this here. Bring this up. There was this black immigrant that looked like some mutant. He didn't even look human. Someone named Actual Ruda Kabana Banana. He shouldn't be in England. He doesn't belong there. He stabbed this little girl 85 times. 85 times. But the problem, according to Keir Starmer, he's the Prime Minister of Britain, they won't give that black guy or African a life sentence because of human rights. And I'm not even joking. There'll come a day that if this little girl should bleed on his tennis shoes, they will charge her family with a hate crime. The government of Britain hates whites. They hate Christians. They are insane. It is like an Orwellian society. My heart goes out to the British people. And the fact that that piece of savage monster would do this to this little girl. And if you complain about it, you're the one they go after, not the savages that murder the children with knives. Outrageous. I non-ironically think we should invade and liberate Britain just to help the people there. I really do. And throw out the government and put them on trial and execute them if they help support this. It's outrageous. And this is where Britain is right now. Very, very sad situation. All right. Things, NATO and Russia. Let's take a look at this here. I thank you guys all for being here. It's great to do these shows on Friday night.
Eastwards, and this you have to. So far as we know, the front line is moving in the wrong direction.
The front line is moving in the wrong direction. What? I thought we were told for years that Ukraine was winning.
Going eastwards, and this you have to step up and not scale back the support for Ukraine. We have to change the trajectory of the war which is ongoing, and Ukraine would lose. That would mean that within NATO, we are not talking about whatever 3% instead of the present spending commitments we have made within NATO, whatever exactly the outcome of that debate will be. It will not be billions extra, it will be trillions extra. Because if Ukraine loses, then to restore the deterrence of the West, of NATO, again, it will be a much, much higher price than what we are contemplating and so.
They're kind of doing the sunk cost fallacy. And if you've ever worked in business, you've seen the sunk cost fallacy. It's where you spend a lot of money in a losing endeavor. And your idea is you got to continue with that project or endeavor because you've already spent so much money on it. But it's a fallacy because you're not going to get that money back anyway. So if you see the project's going to fail, even though you spend a lot of money on it, the smart thing to do logically is pull the plug, right? Unless you think you could turn it around. And the same that's happened in Ukraine. They wasted all this money, your tax money, on this boondoggle. And now they're like panicking that what will happen. Well, Russia, despite what they say here, is not going to invade France. It's not going to invade Germany. It's not going to invade Poland. That's a bunch of bullshit. They're not even going to take all of Ukraine. It's just the various disputed areas. So the premise they're making is bullshit. But Trump's not really down with this. And here's what Trump has said here. Let's see here. This is interesting. Trump has said, breaking, the Trump administration just suspended all new foreign aid pending review. And this includes every country except Egypt and, of course, Israel. But every other country is like, nah, we're going to hold off spending until we figure out what the hell's going on. and that includes Ukraine. So that is a huge deal because Trump, he's a businessman. I think he wants to get out of this nonsense in Ukraine, and he wants to. He's doing his hardest to put pressure both on Zelensky and Putin, and we're already seeing results of this. Because you remember, Zelensky said, "I will never negotiate with Putin." That was in fact, they wrote a law. "I will never negotiate with Putin." Breaking. President Trump seeks immediate meeting with Vladimir Putin. Ukrainian President Zelensky tells Trump he's ready to negotiate a deal to end the war. So Zelensky's already changed his mind. He's willing to negotiate now. Isn't that funny how quick that happened? And Trump's going hard with Putin to work out some deal. And the way Trump's doing, he may work out something. The problem is Russia's winning, so they're not in a position of weakness. But Trump has also told Ukraine, you're not getting back all these territories. They're historically Russian, so just forget that bullshit. So there might be something that could happen there, some sort of peace initiative. I hope there will. It's not only been an expensive war to the U.S. taxpayers, it's been a bloody war on both sides. So many good people killed, and it is crazy. So I hope that gets resolved soon. We will see. So Trump in his first week here has been pretty amazing, and I'm really excited about this. Super chat. I got a super chat. Thank you guys for being here. I just pulled up. I'm going to read it on here. I just pulled up Drudge Report. I never read Drudge Report ever since it became left-wing. And it's saying that Mexico's refusing deportation flights from America. What do you think the implications could mean in the future? I don't think Trump really gives a shit what Mexican says or wants, or Mexico's not in a position to refuse anything. Mexico's not strong enough to even control northern Mexico. Northern Mexico is run by the cartels. Mexico is weak. They can shut the fuck up. There's nothing they can do about it. They're getting their ass in Mexico. What Mexico wants to do about it is on their end. Trump can make things very, very difficult for Mexico. He can make it so all those car plants across the border like Ford have to come back to the United States. He can make it very difficult on Mexico. So I don't really care what Mexico says because they are not, they're not in a position of strength. When you're in a position of strength, you can kind of dictate terms. That's just reality in life. You may not like it, but that's how it is. All right. But thank you for that. That was a good question. I don't never see Drudge anymore. I stopped reading Drudge ever since they went. I think Matt Drudge sold out to some shit libs. All right. We'll end with a video. This was kind of cute. We'll start from the beginning. Sasha says I never do enough cat videos. I tend to do dog videos. So here's a big cat trying to screw with a little kitten. Come on, play with me. I'm gonna whack your head. Come on. The little kitten's serves you right. Serves you right. I'll watch this again. He's trying to bully that little kitten. Because says, I don't want to play. I don't want to play. The cats are looking like, what the hell? Oh, that's what you get. That's what you get for being crazy. Guys, it's been a fun Friday night. Thank you so much. Had a couple good callers. Had 3 callers. Sasha, 009, I think it was, and someone else called in. Thank you very much. We had a great show. It's a lot of fun. And we might do night owls. I don't know. I'll talk with Sasha, see what's this weekend. Otherwise, for sure, Monday, I'm back during the day with the Ramsey Paul Show. Hope you guys have a wonderful weekend. And I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.